July 2nd, 2022. Hope everybody out there is having a good day today. Start off by saying if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Talk to you a little bit today about something you may have overlooked in the past here a couple months. A few months ago, Department of Homeland Security released a tweet about the draft. Now what are we seeing? The Army has dropped, you don't even have to have a GED or a high school diploma to join the Army now. What I believe is going on is they're setting up to reinstate the draft again, because they dropped that requirement because they can't get enough people to enlist now, and they had to kick a bunch of people out because they didn't get a couple of months ago. So what we're seeing, I firmly believe, is a move to slowly initiate the draft again. And they've already agreed that they're going to start, that women's allowed to be drafted. All this stuff was done months before, if you remember, especially the DHS tweet. I made a video over that. Not many people caught it or noticed it, that had come out. It was specifically about the draft. And then you got females can be drafted now. You've dropped the high school diploma, GED in the Army. They've dropped that. I'm sure other military groups, your Marines, your Navy, your Air Force, National Guard, I'm sure all of them will slowly maybe even drop that requirement also. And what they're setting up for is a draft. The draft is nothing new. They had the draft throughout the years, but this one here is, why would they need a draft right now? There's not a war going on technically that we're involved in. So that should show you something what's coming in the future. Now, I'm not saying they're going to start the draft up next week. What I'm saying is they're slowly getting it set up where they can initiate it again. I firmly believe we're going to be involved in this over there between Russia and Ukraine. And then also we've got the China-Taiwan going on, and a lot of people's not paying attention to that. Everything's heating up. Like I've said in other videos, World War III, once it starts, we're not necessarily going to be involved in it in the first couple days or maybe even a year involved in it. Think back to your World War II, things went on for years before we got involved in it. But this one here is heating up a little bit more. I'm still expecting to see some kind of false flag event here in the United States to be blamed on China or Russia to help speed up our involvement in it. And if that doesn't happen, I believe what we're going to see is one of the countries hit one of our bases or one of our places over there, accidentally, of course, is what they'll say, is that it was an accident, or just a straight out false flag event. Our own country would do it to get us into the wars quicker. But to get back on point of this video, what do y'all think? Do you think they're slowly trying to get the draft going again by, dropping the GED, the high school diploma, by saying women can now be drafted and things like that? And you remember DHS released that tweet several months ago talking about the draft, and a lot of people overlooked it. They never even saw it. I made a video on it, and some of the other channels on here mentioned it, but they didn't talk much about it. All this stuff has been planned out way before now. It's not like this is just now happening, because that people's not in the military due to this. They got rid of people and things like that. It's all planned. Everything that goes on in this type of stuff is a planned event. And a lot of people think it just happens on accident. It doesn't. If you think back to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they amassed a lot of troops on the border, Well, then they were given permission to go into certain areas, but not to go past those areas. That would be considered an act of war. Well, Russia went into those areas, and then they moved out of them a little bit. Bam, act of war. And then you saw our White House backtrack and say, no, we didn't say they could go into them, which they already had. How many times have we seen our president say something, and then the press secretary and all them come out and backpedal on what he says and tries to explain it, but it's simple fact that he said it. We've seen that several times since this man's been elected. He comes out and says one thing, and then within a couple hours or the next day they backpedal it. No, that's not what he meant. Well, that's what he said. What's y'all's thoughts on this? Do you think we're going to wind up with a draft again, and how soon do you think it's going to happen? Do you agree that since they're dropping these requirements to join the Army, the other branches are going to follow? Which I think they will eventually. Let me know your thoughts on this. Like or dislike the video, comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you're still watching, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers. I thank every one of you who has subscribed, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Remember, stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. You're not safe anywhere in America anymore. Get out there and get prepped up and be safe.